My name is Samira Varelli. I'm 34 years old, the youngest daughter in a family that treats inheritance like a blood sport and emotions like liabilities. My parents run one of the most exclusive wine estates in Olympia, Washington, where power is bottled, labeled, and poured at fundraising galas. My siblings? They play the game. Smooth, poised, ruthless. I'm the one who left the vineyard to study crisis intelligence and ended up working in a nonprofit that no one in my family can even spell. I've always been the mistake child, the soft one, the watcher, the one they didn't think would matter. They were wrong. And my husband? He was the worst of them all. He thought abandoning me in the rain would silence me for good. But that was the last day I ever let anyone write my ending. Because someone came for me, and he brought more than an umbrella. He didn't say another word when he turned the wheel left, off the main road, onto a narrow gravel path flanked by pine. The headlights cut a cone through the mist. The road dipped. "Where are we going?" I asked. No answer. My phone buzzed once. Then black screen. Dead. No signal. No power. A minute later, he hit the brakes. I looked around. Nothing but trees, rain, and the faint outline of a derelict rest stop. He didn't turn off the engine. "Get out," he said. I didn't move. "You heard me. Get out." I blinked. "You're leaving me here? Consider this a lesson." He leaned closer, voice low. "Maybe next time, you'll think twice before questioning me in front of my lawyer." A beat. Then I stepped out. Rain sliced sideways into my face. The car door slammed shut behind me. Tirespun. The taillights vanished into the trees. I didn't scream. I reached into the lining of my coat, peeled back the seam, and pulled out a black digital recorder the size of a lipstick tube. Still blinking red. Every word, every threat, every breath. Still recording. Good. I slipped it back in place, zipped my jacket, adjusted my hood. Then I walked. Wind howled through the trees like a warning. I counted steps. 100, 200, 300. The rain was relentless. A dark shape appeared on the left, a broken payphone booth, and a bench, half swallowed by moss. Something metallic glinted behind the trash bins. A noise. Branches cracked. I froze. Movement behind the pump station. Fast. Heavy. I turned. Nothing. Just fog. Then, a whisper. Not wind. Footsteps. Too soft to be a deer. Too deliberate to be random. Samira Varelli. A voice. Low. Mechanical. From the shadows. I turned sharply. A figure stepped out, tall, gloved, coat zipped up to the throat. Face shadowed under a hood. I tensed. "Who sent you?" "You did." His hand reached into the coat. I stepped back. He held up a satellite phone. It beeped once. A message blinked on the screen. "Safe house ready. ETA 22 minutes. My breath caught. Only 3 people had that protocol, and I hadn't used it in years. He gestured toward the trail. "This way, if you want to live." I followed. No talking. Just rain. And breath. And the sound of boots against wet soil. We reached a black truck idling under the tree line. He opened the door for me, slid into the driver's seat, pulled out onto a side road without headlights. The silence buzzed louder than any siren. "Why now?" I asked finally. He didn't look at me, because he made it real this time. He turned the wheel hard left, down a barely there trail that coiled into the forest like a spine. "He doesn't want you humiliated," he said. "He wants you gone." I felt it then. Deep, tight in the chest. Not fear. Resolve. He thought I'd be crying in the rain. But he forgot I don't break. I burn. The truck slid off the main road, tires crunching over wet gravel. No lights. Just trees closing in like jaws. I stayed silent. My jacket was soaked through. My legs ached from tension more than distance. He didn't ask questions. Neither did I. We weren't there to talk. He killed the engine. The forest swallowed the noise. "This way," he said, pulling a flashlight from the dash. A flick. A beam of white cut through the trees.
Sin, fast, deliberate.
We followed it. Past the tree line, behind the husk of a rusted-out diner, a concrete structure loomed, half-buried, moss-covered, its windows boarded. The old fuel station. The door groaned open. Smelled like damp metal and old secrets. He gestured to a counter with a cracked formica top. A duffel bag sat there, perfectly placed. Untouched. I opened it. Inside, a burner phone, a small silver key, and a hard drive. Labeled in Sharpie. Vault Backup 3, Gavin. My chest seized. Gavin Eames was my father's oldest friend. Former co-founder of Blackridge Holdings. The kind of man who disappeared from public view, but not from power. The last time I heard his name, I was 19. He vanished after a boardroom coup. I looked at the man who brought me here. Who gave you this? He didn't answer. He just tilted his head toward the back. Your part's not done yet. A payphone. Still intact. Still humming. It rang. One sharp, mechanical trill. I stared. He nodded. I picked up.
No greeting.
Just a low voice. You have 24 hours. Get the vault open. Or this goes to arbitration.
Click.
Line dead. The hairs on my neck stood up. Arbitration meant legal fire. But not in court.
Private.
Sealed.
Silent.
No protection. They wanted the scandal buried before it surfaced. I turned to him. This isn't just about Christian. No, he met my gaze. It never was. Wind slammed the door open behind us. I jumped. He drew a gun, moved to the door, peered out. Nothing. Then, smoke. Not from outside. From under the counter. I dropped to my knees. A timer blinked red on the far side of the duffel. 011, 010, 009. Run, I gasped. He grabbed the hard drive. I grabbed the phone and key. We sprinted. Out the door. Down the trail. The explosion hit us 5 steps later. A fireball surged behind us, heat biting down my neck like teeth. We hit the mud hard. Smoke. Flames. Shattered glass in my scalp. I coughed. My lungs screamed. He shoved me up. Go. The truck wasn't far. We threw ourselves inside. Doors slammed. Engine roared. Back on the gravel. Sirens in the distance. Too late. I stared ahead, heart pounding in my throat. What the hell is in that vault? I whispered. He didn't look at me. But he said, enough to bring down everyone you've ever met in that house of yours. I stared at the hard drive in my lap. It pulsed like it was alive. Not just data. Insurance. Weapons. Proof. Christian's trying to erase me. He finally turned. He's not trying. A pause. He's already started. My phone vibrated. The burner. Unknown number. Message. Your name's been redacted in all public filings. Starting this week, you don't legally exist. My breath caught. That wasn't metaphor. That was federal. Systemic. Targeted. Social security flagged. Licenses canceled. Bank access frozen. He was wiping me out digitally, legally, financially.
And he had help.
Big help. Someone's in on this, I whispered. He didn't answer. But he didn't deny it either. The trees blurred past. Headlights still off. My hands trembled. Do you believe in fate? I asked him suddenly. He glanced at me.
No.
I do, I said. But not the poetic kind. The kind you build brick by brick. Lie by lie. Until one day you get trapped in your own design. We crested a hill. A radio tower loomed in the distance, abandoned, skeletal. Beyond it, the valley. Safe house is under the tower, he said. Who else knows we're coming? No one who matters anymore. I almost believed him. Almost. If they wanted me erased, they should have done it cleaner. Now I'm angry. The radio tower looked dead. No signal. No sound. No light. But the safe house beneath it buzzed with life. Its kind of life. The kind that hides behind thick doors, triple-bolted systems, and people who never use their real names. He led me down a narrow staircase into concrete silence. Every footstep echoed too loud.
My throat was dry.
"You built this place?"
I asked.
He didn't answer. Another hallway. Steel walls. Red lights. One keypad. He tapped 6 digits.
Door hitched open.
Inside, cold.
Sharp. Clean.
One desk. One screen. One chair. On the screen, an operating system I hadn't seen since my crisis intel days. Something homebrewed. Something untraceable. "You got 5 minutes," he said. "Then we move again." He handed me the drive. I plugged it in. Screen flickered. Loaded. A folder appeared. Core Vault BRG_clients shadow_wire. I clicked. It asked for a passphrase. I froze. He watched me. "Try your mother's maiden name," he said.
I did.
Denied. "Try the estate's founding year."
Denied.
"Try his." I typed, "Marquette 1991. Access granted." The screen exploded in motion. Dozens of files.
Wire transfers.
Shell corporations. Board votes. All marked private. All signed. See Marquette. Then I saw it. A document buried 4 folders deep. Varelli_consent. PDF. I clicked. My face stared back at me on a scanned signature form. It was dated 8 months ago. It gave Christian total financial authority over our shared accounts, our family trust, my father's foundation. "I never signed this," I whispered. "It's been notarized," he said. "Digitally. Legal. Unless you prove otherwise." My breath tightened. This lets him drain everything. Make me look complicit. Exactly. I stared at the screen. Then I saw another name. At the bottom of the page. Elijah Thorne, witness. My heart dropped. I turned to him. "You." He didn't blink. "You signed this." "I was under contract," he said.
Calm.
"At the time." My fingers curled into fists. "You lied to me. I was doing a job. And now." He paused. "Now I'm finishing the right one." I laughed once.
Sharp.
Bitter. The right one. Christian made it personal when he left you there. Before that, you were just collateral. The air in the room cracked like glass under heat. He stepped closer. "You're not the only one he burned, Sam." I shook my head. "That's supposed to make it better?" "No," he said. "It's supposed to make it clear. We can either end him together, or he ends both of us alone." I backed away. The door beeped. An alert blinked on screen. External motion. Camera 2. Unauthorized vehicle approaching. He moved fast. Pulled the cable. Snapped the drive shut. "Time's up." We scrambled back upstairs. Gun drawn. Eyes sharp. The truck was gone. Instead, a black SUV blocked the dirt path. Windows tinted. A man stepped out.
Slim.
Expensive coat.
No umbrella.
His voice floated across the rain. "Samira, it's been a while." I froze. That voice. It couldn't be. He stepped into the light. Nolan Avery. Christian's old partner. The one who disappeared after the IPO scandal in Zurich. He smiled like we were at brunch. "I believe you have something that belongs to me." Behind him, 2 more men stepped out. One with gloves. One with a case. My mind raced. Nolan wasn't just here for the drive. He knew I'd be with Eli. He planned this. I whispered. "How did he find us?"
Elias clenched.
"Only way is the burner." He yanked it from my pocket. Threw it into the trees. "Too late," I muttered. They were already walking forward. "You lied to me," I said to Eli.
Twice. He didn't look at me.
Didn't flinch. "I know," he said. "But I never promised I'd stay gone." He turned. Stepped forward. Hands up. Negotiating? Or delivering me? I backed away. The drive was still in my coat. 10 seconds. One chance. I turned. Bolted into the woods. Branches sliced my face. Footsteps behind me.
Fast.
Heavy.
shouting. Then,
A shot cracked. Tree bark exploded near my shoulder. I kept running, heart screaming. He thought I'd be the one left bleeding. But this time, I'm coming back with war. I ran until the trees blurred, until branches whipped across my cheeks and the breath tore from my lungs. I didn't stop. Not when Nolan shouted behind me. Not when the second shot cracked past my ear. Pain meant I was alive. And being alive meant one thing he hadn't won yet. A rusted fence loomed ahead. I ducked under it, knees slamming into wet earth. I clawed through bramble. Found a drainage tunnel. Small.
narrow. Perfect.
I slid in. Darkness swallowed everything but breath and fear. This is how you outlive them. You move before they expect it, hide where they never look, and burn their name from your mouth. That's what my grandfather used to say. Power isn't taken. It's survived. 3 hours later, I stood in a motel bathroom, staring into a cracked mirror. Blood at the temple. Mud on my collar. Rain dried to salt on my skin. I looked like a ghost. Fitting. Because on paper, I didn't exist anymore. Christian made sure of that. Bank access, frozen. Health records, sealed. Phone account, terminated. Even my social security status came up flagged under inactive reassignment. It was digital assassination. Erase the woman, control the story. But he'd forgotten one thing. I knew where the original story was buried. And it was under my parents' house. The house in Bellevue hadn't changed. Too big. Too clean. Too curated. The kind of place where secrets came dressed in wine and French phrases. I parked 2 blocks down. Walked in the rain. Hood up. Midnight. Security codes still worked. For beeps.
Click.
Front door opened with a sigh. Inside, soft jazz. Glass clinking. Voices. My stomach twisted. They were hosting. Of course. I crept past the foyer. Voices came from the parlor. Laughter.
Toasts.
Christians handled everything, my mother said. The girl's unstable, someone else added. Always has been. I didn't stop. The cellar door was near the kitchen. Still painted mint green. I pulled it open, closed it behind me, and descended into the dark.
No lights.
Just memory. 12 steps.
Turn left.
3rd shelf. Hollow panel. My father's old wine vault.
I yanked.
A metal safe blinked at me. Fingerprint required. I pressed my thumb. Access denied. Again. Access denied. I whispered, "Come on, you old bastard." Then I tried my father's index finger, lifted from a ceramic mold I'd stolen when I was 16. 3rd try. Access granted. Inside, flash drives. Ledger books. 1 sealed envelope with my name on it. I ripped it open. 3 lines. In his hand. "If you're reading this, he's moved faster than we thought. Everything's in the Eames account. Trust no one." I swallowed. That name again. Gavin Eames. My godfather. The ghost behind Blackridge's early empire. Was he still alive? Or just a memory Christian hadn't finished burying? A thud above.
Heavy.
Closer. Footsteps.
Basement door creaked.
Voices muffled. Too many. I grabbed the envelope, shoved the drives into my jacket, killed the vault light. Moved fast. Back shelf. Service hatch. Dumbwaiter shaft. I climbed. Hand over hand. Knuckles scraped metal. Don't look down. Don't breathe too loud. At the top, kitchen. I pushed it open. Emerged behind the marble island. Kitchen was empty. But the hallway wasn't. My mother stood there. Glass of wine.
Silk robe.
She didn't scream. She just looked at me like she'd seen a stain. "You shouldn't be here," she said softly. "I never really was," I whispered. She tilted her head. "He'll ruin you." He already tried. "You always had to fight, didn't you? Even when you knew you were born to lose." I smiled. Maybe. But tonight, I don't lose alone. I slipped out the back door. Heart racing. Rain back in full force. Sirens in the distance. Too late. I'd gotten what I came for. They buried me under this house for years. But tonight I came back holding the match. The rain hadn't stopped. Not once. It followed me across counties, down side roads, through back exits, motel showers, payphones, dead drop sites. Christian always hated the rain. I started loving it the day he left me in it. I left Bellevue in a stolen SUV. Ditch-colored.
No plats.
The ledger, the drives, the envelope, they rode in the glove box beside a loaded .22 and a burner phone tied to a ghosted number out of Vermont. At the first rest stop, I wiped my face in the mirror, tied my hair back, and said it out loud for the first time.
He wants me gone.
Legally, physically, financially. A beat. Then. And if I die now, the story gets buried with me. Because power doesn't kill you with a gun. It makes sure you don't matter anymore. I hit a contact code Gavin used years ago. It pinged back once. One word. Belfair. A location. Remote.
Familiar.
I rerouted south. Past Port Orchard. Turned off GPS, drove dark. Belfair was swampy. Quiet. Still as a lie that hadn't been told yet. I parked under a rusted billboard and watched the meeting point. 12 minutes in, headlights cut through the trees. I stayed crouched. A sedan stopped. Door opened. He stepped out.
Ellie.
Blood-stained coat. Limp. No weapon in hand. But his eyes. Still sharp. Still dangerous. He didn't look surprised. You run fast, he said. You lie faster, I shot back. He smirked. I'm still alive. So are you. That has to count for something. I'm not looking to reconcile. Good, he said. I'm not here for redemption. He pulled something from his coat. Not a weapon. A file. Labeled AMC Q4 Security Holdings. I opened it. Inside, names. Accounts. Transactions. One stood out. Nolan Avery, transfer agent, witness proxy, Blackridge internal legal. I stared. He signed off on everything? I asked.
No.
He initiated it. The twist hit me like a punch to the ribs. Christian wasn't the architect. Nolan was. Christian was the weapon. Nolan was the hand holding it. The redirections. The surveillance. The timing. The erasure. It was all Nolan. And Nolan had one rule. Never leave paper. Never get seen.
Until now.
He made it personal, Eli said. He made it business, I corrected. Eli turned the page. You still have the drive? I nodded. We need to release it. Not yet. Why? I looked at him. Because he doesn't know I know. That's the only edge I've got left. A screech of tires. We both turned. Another vehicle. Not marked.
No lights.
3 men stepped out. Not suits. Tactical gear. Silencers. Clean boots. They're not here to talk, I said. Nope. We ran.
Cut left.
Gunfire chased our heels. Branches snapped. A bullet grazed my side. I screamed but didn't fall. We dove into marsh. Water up to our chests.
No mon.
No cover. Just breath and mud and blood. Eli dragged me behind a felled log. Bleeding. Grazed.
Lucky.
Story of my life. I hissed. The men passed us. Footsteps in sync. One stopped. Turned. My breath caught. He lifted something. Not a gun. A flare. He fired it into the sky. Red light bled into black. He wasn't tracking us. He was marking us. Eli whispered, We have 10 minutes. To what? To disappear. He reached into his boot. Pulled out a GPS chip. Encrypted. One-time access. Buried inside an abandoned bank vault in Tacoma. What's in it? Everything. I blinked. Everything what? He looked at me. The real story. Not just what they stole, but who helped them. And the one person who's still funding them. I stared. You're telling me there's another name? There's always another name. He handed me the chip. You go. What about you?
He drew his weapon.
I make sure they don't follow. You won't survive that. He smirked. Wasn't planning to. I grabbed his arm. He looked down. Our eyes locked. I don't forget debts, I said. Then win, he whispered. Win loud. I turned. Ran. Rain in my eyes. Blood on my side. Heart breaking like bone under pressure. He thought I'd be the one left bleeding. But this time, I'm coming back with war. Tacoma. Midnight. The old downtown bank looked abandoned. Vines crawling over stone. Windows boarded. A forgotten building for a city that forgot things fast. But underground it lived. I keyed the sequence into the pad. 6 numbers, 1 breath, 2 memories. The door slid open. Cold air spilled out. I moved fast. Down the stairs. Into the vault. The room smelled like wet copper and ozone. 1 terminal. Already powered. I slotted the chip Eli gave me. The screen blinked. Files opened. Not just bank accounts. Not just contracts. But video.
Audio.
Witness statements. Digital trails. Whistleblower uploads. Blackridge's real face unmasked. And, at the center of it all, Nolan Avery. Controlling shell companies. Threatening regulators. Redirecting funds. Buying judges. Christian was just the shell. Nolan was the virus. I sent everything to a secure public link. Encrypted, geolocked. Programmed to trigger upload in 20 minutes. No stopping it now. I hit send. And then I waited. 12 hours later, it hit the wire. First Reddit. Then financial forums. Then full blast. News anchors scrambling. DOJ whistleblowers stepping forward. 2 senators quoted. 1 European warrant filed. By noon, Christian was in custody. By 3, Nolan vanished. By sunset, my parents called me for the first time in 3 years. I didn't answer. Because some doors are best left closed. I walked into the press room at 6 p.m. Leather jacket. Hair tied.
No script.
They stared like I was the ghost of justice. But I wasn't. I was what happens when you leave the wrong woman standing in the rain. I stepped to the mic. You don't know me, I said. But you've heard my name. A year ago, I was just a wife. Then I was erased. But power always forgets one thing. Paper burns, money hides, but truth doesn't die.
Pause.
I looked straight into the lens. To anyone out there who's been made to feel invisible, we are not collateral. We are the reckoning. I walked off before they could clap. Because this wasn't a performance. This was war. And I had already won. I stood outside as the rain returned.
Soft. Slow.
No longer a threat. Just weather. Someone stepped beside me.
Ellie. Alive. Scarred.
Limps now. He handed me a black envelope. Gavin's handwriting. Inside, coordinates.
Offshore.
Discreet. Assets reclaimed. Not stolen. Returned. Time to disappear? He asked. I shook my head. Not yet. Why? Because I want them to see me rebuild. He smiled. You know, someone once told me, the difference between surviving and living is who writes your ending. I exhaled. Then said, they tried to write mine with silence. I rewrote it with fire. We walked away.
No handcuffs.
No security.
No apologies.
Just the storm behind us. And peace ahead. Because he taught me a lesson, yes. But he forgot, some lessons kill the teacher.